we're probably seeing a new episode here of what is happening with Latino voters and Donald Trump. I want to take you back. Let's look at the rerun of the exit polls in 2024. Just a little bit of a reminder here, folks. You know, the Latino community came out in support of Donald Trump pretty heavily when compared to before, right? 46% supported Donald Trump. Just want everybody to see that again, because now we are starting to see a little bit difference. Now, I want to see another poll too, because one of the other things that did change was Black men, like 21% of Black men came out to support Donald Trump, which was obviously more than he had the first time around. There was a big shift there as well. I haven't seen a new poll about that, but we do have new numbers about what is happening with the Latino community. Donald Trump appears to be losing support. We are moving on to the next episode, and you guys are about to see what is really happening. Donald Trump was able to win by getting that support. Things are starting to change now.
And President Trump's favorability has dropped among Hispanic adults since he took office in January. That's according to a new AP NORC poll. But it's causing some concern among his supporters, considering Hispanic voters played a major role in helping Trump win the 2024 election. Here to help me break down the results of this poll and dig into it a little bit more, our Scripps News political director, Andrew Rafferty. So, Raf, what did you take from this poll?
Yeah, well, Steph, it's October, so for many Americans, there's a chill in the air, perhaps thinking towards the World Series beginning tonight. For us, we are thinking towards elections. No huge ones, at least not nationally this time around compared to where we were this time last year. But this poll that you mentioned is really interesting because you really can't talk about American elections, who's going to win and lose, without talking about the importance of the Hispanic vote. And that's really what the AP is digging into. The fascinating findings out just this morning. Look at how Trump's favorability among Hispanics has grown. First, let's talk about how he was able to sort of bolster those numbers. You look at between the 2020 election to 2024, his numbers have improved about 8 percentage points. And while that's still not a majority, Kamala Harris did win a majority of Hispanics, it is certainly notable when you're talking about those close margins that we see in those battleground states. But look at what has happened over the course of 2025. This was taken before Trump got into office back in January. He still had favorable ratings, about 44% among Hispanics. Now, as we sit here today, that is just about a quarter. So a pretty precipitous drop, and one that really threatens to jeopardize all these sort of progress we have seen.
Let me go back just a little bit more here so we can just hone in on these numbers. In January this year, Donald Trump had 44% support from the Latino community. Now it shows 25%. What happened between January and now? The ICE raids. The ICE raids, we can add the economy to that too, because everybody, that's going to affect everyone. But the ICE raids, the way that he went about doing it, it's bad when it gets to the point where even Marjorie Taylor Greene called it out. Tim Dillon called it out. Theo Vaughn called it out. Joe Rogan called it out. These are all people who voted for Donald Trump and supported Donald Trump. So now you're starting to see Latino community, that support that Donald Trump gained with them has decreased. There was supposed to be, it was showing there was a possibility of some type of realignment with the Republican Party. That is already changing, and Trump hasn't even finished his first year yet. So they're seeing what is happening. Again, I'm just going to say this for the 100th time. I could have sworn this is what he said he was going to do. Now, some people probably are like, well, he didn't mean it like that or say it like that, or he was just talking. And I was like, I could have sworn he said this is what he was going to do. But if I'm wrong, let me know. But this is where he's at now. So regardless if he tries to run for a third term or not, whoever ends up running as the Republican nominee in 2028 is going to have to reckon with this. Let's continue on.
the sort of progress we have seen among not just Donald Trump, but Republicans overall when it comes to reaching out to the Hispanic vote. You know, we talked about going back to the 2020 election, 2016, how much of a sort of reliable voting base Hispanics had been for Democrats. That has really started to crack, started to change, really driven by young Hispanics, specifically young men. Even in this poll, we've seen some fraying of that support for Republicans overall, and then, of course, specifically for Donald Trump. And I think, you know, anyone who's been paying attention to the headlines recently might point to ICE raids, some of the immigration actions we've seen from Donald Trump, but you can't just ascribe that to this fraying of support. We were at those conventions in Milwaukee last summer where they were talking about mass deportations. This has been something that Donald Trump has been talking about even when he was much more popular. It really does come down to some of those economic concerns that we've seen not just from Hispanics, but across the board, all races, all genders, that the economy just is not getting better, despite what the president had talked about on the campaign trail a year ago. And so a lot of time, this is just one poll, so we don't read into it too much, but certainly a warning sign for Republicans who were feeling pretty confident about some of the gains they had seen in the 2024 election among Hispanic voters.
The fact that it has decreased that by that much, and the year hasn't even ended yet, that is a sign. That is a sign. What did I mean by third term? Oh, because he said that he would like to run for a third term. That's what he said. Like, obviously, you know, that's not legally, that's not possible, but that wouldn't stop him. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But he said he wanted to run for a third term. Steve Bannon even came out and said that he thinks that Donald Trump could absolutely end up running for a third term. So we don't know what's going to happen. But the reality is this whole realignment thing, we see there's another shift that's happening because obviously they're not agreeing with what's happening with the way these deportations are being handled. Let's continue on.
Well, certainly, you know, while we know the president campaigned on this mass deportation promise, I think it's probably safe to say seeing that implemented is maybe a little different than a lot of Americans were expecting. And then on the economy, the president made a lot of big promises about fixing the economy right away, and he hasn't been able to do that as quickly as he thought. So certainly could be contributing not only to Hispanic support, but other support for the president. But I want to ask about a few elections we do have coming up, but we might not have any nationwide federal elections. There are some.
So that's important for people to pay attention to, that he is already seeing that decrease there with Hispanic voters. So I think that's important for people to see. And you are going to get the opportunity here to hear from some of those who did support Donald Trump, a part of that community. And I want you to hear what they are saying now. This was just 3 months ago. Listen to this.
A wave of disappointment. One of President Donald Trump's most loyal voting blocs, Cuban and Venezuelan immigrants. Now speaking out in Miami, a Republican stronghold, as the recent wave of deportations hits home and the Trump administration moved to end temporary legal status, or TPS, for more than 500,000 people who arrived during the Biden administration. Elena Conde says she came here from Cuba on humanitarian parole in 2023. Her husband, Ariel Lara, crossed the border with Mexico twice, once in 2019 when he was detained and deported, and then again in 2022. 6 weeks ago, he was taken into custody at his residency hearing.
So he was given an appointment to go to ICE. You told him before he left for that appointment, you don't have anything to worry about. You haven't done anything.
Instead, he was transferred to Texas, where we spoke to him from his detention center.
Ariel, ¿qué piensas sobre lo que está pasando ahora en este país, en este momento con respecto a las deportaciones? How do you feel about everything that's happening right now in this country with the deportations? You don't understand how this could happen. ¿Qué pensaba que iba a pasar cuando ganó Trump? What did you think was going to happen when Trump won? You're saying you believed the president when he said he was going to deport criminals.
Now, Elena is left behind with her daughter, 7-month-old son, and Ariel's 70-year-old grandmother, who has been a...
We have to pause here for just a second because, again, as someone who covered those elections last year, he didn't just say he was going to deport criminals. Like, correct me if you guys remember this or not, But I remember he was saying then, coming after the Dreamers, he was like, well, we're going to go after them too, that if you weren't, if your parents came here illegally, but you were born here, we're going to try to change the citizenship status to where you don't automatically get that citizenship just because you were born here. I mean, am I losing my mind? Like, did he not say these things? Did he not say these things and make this very clear? So I just don't understand, again, why people are so surprised that this is what he has done. And this is, as they said, that is a Republican stronghold. Now, I don't consider Florida to be a swing state. I consider it to be a conservative, red state. It hasn't swung, if I remember correctly, since Obama 2008. Obama was able to win Florida in 2008. FM said that's exactly what Trump said. I thought so. Yeah, I thought that was exactly what he said. But a Democrat, from what I remember, for the presidential election hasn't been able to win it since 2008, Obama. So I don't know. But the people that she is talking to, these were Trump supporters. It's not like they voted for Kamala or they voted third party. No, these were people who supported Donald Trump. And it's almost as if they didn't hear what he was saying. Like they didn't hear the same thing that you and I heard. I don't know. Let's go back just a little bit here because I cut her off. Sorry.
And Ariel's 70-year-old grandmother, who has been a U.S. citizen for years. Together, facing a reality they never imagined.
Toda mi familia votó por Trump.
Your whole family voted for Trump. Lo apoyaba a Trump durante su campaña. Did you support him?
Yo estoy fuera.
You're outside of it. You can't vote. Pero te sientes decepcionada. Do you feel disappointed, deceived, engañada?
Me siento mal porque sé que ellos creían en él.
You feel bad because the rest of them believed in him.
It's a concern Democratic strategists are capitalizing on, with billboards like these calling Republican lawmakers traitors. Still, here in Florida, Trump won almost 70% of the Cuban American vote in 2024, along with 61% of Doral.
See this? So again, I mean, I don't know what to say. And, you know, some people will point to me and they'll say, well, Sabs, we didn't believe that Trump was actually going to do those things he said he was going to do. Really? Did you miss his first term? Like, what? I don't know. I feel like I'm living in a cartoon. Oh, my God.
To the largest Venezuelan American population in the U.S.
They used us.
Adelis Ferro is the co-founder and executive director of the Venezuelan American Caucus.
How is the Venezuelan community feeling right now, especially in the context of these deportations?
Desperate, terrified. There are people with mental health issues. There are people with panic attacks, anxiety attacks. They rather to die than go back to Venezuela, and then
people
have
are
to
talking
stop.
about taking their lives.
I have those messages
because the situation
because
here
of the situation. They rather
so
to take their own
deportation.
lives, yes, than go back to Venezuela.
The ripple effects affecting families and businesses. This Venezuelan business owner, who asked us not to use his name to protect his business and fellow owners, said the political instability has led to a 20% drop in revenue.
It's affected your clients as well as the people who work here. A lot of people have already invested in businesses here and they've stopped because they just don't know what the future brings.
Still, experts say the current turmoil may not hurt the Republican Party.
All this stuff done in the first 200 days of the administration. They have a long road ahead before the midterms.
Do you think that Trump will pay a political price?
I'm not sure that Trump or the Republican Party as an institution is going to suffer a great deal unless the Democrats can muster an opposition that is a compelling vision as to how things could be done differently.
Morgan Radford, NBC News.
So I just got to say, folks, I can understand if he didn't run that way on that issue. I could totally understand it, but he did. So to me, it's just, you know, Like, you could have voted for someone else. Adrian said here, no, they didn't use you. You let yourself be used. Exactly. Like when I saw this video for the first time and that woman said that, she was like, he used us. Nah, he told you. Like blatantly so. More so than other politicians too, because Donald Trump has no filter. Like he literally came flat out and said what his plan was and what he wanted to do. I don't understand. Like, I really don't get it. It's like people hear what they want to hear and people believe what they want to believe. But this is really interesting. This next episode of the Republican Party, that realignment that happened for 2024, I'm wondering if the next episode is going to show the same thing. I'm wondering if that realignment is going to hold. Probably not. And listen, you know, I have a lot of sympathy for people. At the same time, you know, I mean, it's not like this was a secret. It's not like he said, hey, I'm going to create a pathway to citizenship and then did this. He told you what he was going to do. So there you have it. There you have it. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.